During Wolff's tenure, Mercedes has only lost 2 drivers. The first was Nico Rosberg, whose unexpected retirement in 2016 came just days after he clinched the title, catching Wolff off guard. Hamilton's exit echoes that surprise, but also brings a renewed opportunity for innovation within the team. Mercedes have triumphed in 3 of the last 4 Grand Prix, showing they're still a force to be reckoned with, alongside McLaren in the race for titles. The absence of Hamilton's experience will certainly be felt in Brackley, and there's a lingering fear that a rookie driver in 2025 might jeopardize their title chances. Despite this, Wolff appears confident that Antonelli represents the future for Mercedes, and is committed to this strategic gamble if Max opts out of joining Mercedes. Wolff is willing to give a final push to secure Verstappen, and a high-level meeting was conducted in Monaco to finalize an approach on a war footing. With Carlos Sainz now signed and settled, the 2025 driver contracts should start falling into place like dominoes. With just 3 seats left to confirm for 2025, the Formula One driver market is slowing down as teams kick back during their summer hiatus. Carlos Sainz's decision to join Williams for 2025 has left Sauber Audi free to explore other options. A surprising name has popped up on the Swiss team's radar: rookie Gabriel Bortoleto. Impressing in F2, Bortoleto is now considered a potential teammate for Hülkenberg. Currently, Bortoleto holds the 2nd spot in the championship, trailing behind Red Bull's junior driver Isaac Hadjar. However, Valtteri Bottas remains the frontrunner to guide Sauber through its transition to Audi. Meanwhile, Alpine is weighing up Mick Schumacher and Mick Doohan as possible replacements for Esteban Ocon, who is heading to Haas F1. As for Mercedes, paddock insiders believe they'll promote their academy talent, Kimi Antonelli. Nonetheless, the team's top brass are making a last-ditch effort to lure Max Verstappen into their camp. In June, when questioned about the prospect of Verstappen joining Mercedes, Toto Wolff seemed to hint that the reigning world champion should wait until Mercedes has a truly competitive F1 car. Wolff told the media, "We still need to examine ourselves and ask, what can we do to consistently race at the front with those two? I believe there will come a time when we can be a destination for the best drivers, including Max." More seriously, it's becoming clear that Red Bull's primary challenge now lies in their ultra-stiff suspension, a design heavily influenced by Adrian Newey to suit the current ground effect rules. Initially, the focus on a super-stable aerodynamic platform that excelled at high speeds and offered remarkable efficiency was the right call. This setup allowed the car to maintain sufficient downforce and decent balance, even with a higher ride height on bumpier or slower tracks, enabling Verstappen to win most races with ease. If that goes unaddressed and is allowed to fester throughout the rest of the season, Wolff's New Year wish might just come true. Much of Wolff's charm offensive to Verstappen hinges on the upcoming power unit changes for 2026. Red Bull has established its own in-house division, Red Bull Powertrains, and is receiving technical assistance from Ford, a company with no direct F1 experience in over 20 years since it sold Jaguar to Red Bull. Although significant progress has been made in developing a power unit, this young company faces formidable competitors like Mercedes, Ferrari, and Honda. For Red Bull, it's a massive risk, and Wolff is keen to emphasize that Mercedes perfected the turbo-hybrid power units in 2014, leading to an unprecedented era of dominance in F1. This is a compelling advantage, considering that Mercedes' high-performance powertrains are well proven compared to the relatively untested RBPT Ford. While Verstappen has publicly supported the project, he won't hesitate to jump ship if he detects any signs of a weak product. However, as the competition has closed the gap, teams like McLaren and Mercedes seem to have discovered a more balanced performance trade-off. Their setups appear to offer a better compromise, adapting more effectively to various track conditions and challenging Red Bull's previous dominance. Eddie Jordan, the founder of the Silverstone F1 team, now known as Aston Martin, recently shared an intriguing revelation. In Monaco, there was a meeting between Toto, Jim Ratcliffe of Ineos, and Ola Källenius, the CEO of Mercedes. Jordan disclosed on the Formula for Success podcast. They collectively created a fighting fund to potentially meet Max's salary requirements, Jordan continued, noting that Verstappen had been informed about the meeting's outcome. Surely that indicates the steely commitment from Toto and his team to eventually bring Max on board. We shouldn't be surprised if we see Max in a Mercedes in the coming years, concluded Eddie Jordan, who also manages Adrian Newey. Ex-F1 driver and TV pundit David Coulthard chimed in, suggesting that Verstappen isn't driven by money. Max is the highest-earning driver in Formula One. Perhaps that title will shift to Lewis if he joins Ferrari. I don't know. It's not just about the money, it's about the performance. You can put together a fighting fund, but but all the money spent on the driver isn't being invested in the car, added Coulthard. However, in today's F1, driver salaries aren't a trade-off for top teams between spending on the car or personnel. Under FIA financial regulations, the spending cap that F1 teams must adhere to each season does not include the driver's remuneration. This wasn't the case when Jordan was running his team, and he explains his preference for younger drivers, who were less of a strain on the team's budget. Earlier this season, there was significant buzz about an exit clause in Max Verstappen's contract that could allow him to leave the team before it expires in 2028. However, Dr. Helmut Marko has since extended his deal with the world champions until at least the end of 2026, effectively closing the loophole that would have permitted Max's departure. Coulthard acknowledges that the window for Mercedes to snatch Max from under Red Bull's nose may have closed. He's comfortable there, happy there. As we've seen with Lewis, just because you decide to go somewhere else, it doesn't mean you're going somewhere better. At the moment, he decided to go to Ferrari. They were stronger than Mercedes. Now Mercedes are stronger than Ferrari. You are rolling the dice for where the future performance will be, said the ex-McLaren and Red Bull driver. Coulthard goes on to note how F1 goes in cycles, and with the exception of the Hamilton years while Mercedes, when teams are winning, they look at each other nodding. How great are we? We've achieved our technical targets. Then, that same team, whether it be Red Bull after the Sebastian Vettel years when the focus was on the engine, it's easy to point a finger at something outside of your control. At McLaren, if we had issues, Ron Dennis was comfortable saying it was the Mercedes because he didn't build the engine. Within these marriages of convenience, there is always finger pointing. After success, a lack of success follows and people start saying, I was part of a winning team, so which part is getting it wrong? Mercedes hoped the new F1 power unit regulations coming in 2026 would entice Verstappen, given their utter dominance when the V6 turbo hybrid powertrains were introduced in 2014. However, this time there are financial restrictions on what teams can spend on R&D, so Mercedes doesn't have the $1 billion budget they had in 2014. Despite this, Coulthard believes this may still attract Max. He could go to Mercedes. He can't go to Ferrari for the next 2 years unless Charles or Lewis get fired, or they walk away because they have firm contracts. Although Verstappen's current contract is not due to expire until the end of the 2028 season, Red Bull's recent struggles have fueled suggestions that he could be tempted to join Mercedes, potentially as soon as next year, ahead of the major F1 2026 regulation changes. Max Verstappen has expressed reservations about Red Bull Racing's chances of winning the 2024 Constructors' Championship. Despite holding a 42-point lead over McLaren, he emphasised the need for continuous improvement as competition intensifies, with teams like Mercedes showing unexpected strength. With Max Verstappen's potential move to Mercedes and the upcoming changes in F1 regulations, do you think this could mark the beginning of a new era of dominance for Mercedes, or will Red Bull bounce back stronger? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.